Hello, everybody. Today we're diving into something a little different, bringing the natural world into your miniature painting by letting nature select your color palette. Specifically, I'm going to show you how I planned and painted this Warhammer 40k Vespid using a color scheme inspired by one of nature's most intimidating flyers, the Hornet. But this isn't just about copying colors. It's about learning how to look at nature and translate that into painting your model. So, grab your brushes and let's go. Nature has millions of years of color theory figured out, from camouflage to warning signs, from metallic beetle shells to the matte fur of a fox. Natural color palettes are already battle tested for impact and contrast. When you base your scheme off something real like a wasp, beetle, or bird, you get a combo of striking, believable, and fresh. It instantly gives your mini a story, a mood, and even a tactical vibe. So the first step is going to be choosing your inspiration. Ask yourself, what kind of energy do you want your model to give off? Do you want something stealthy? Maybe you look at owls, lizards, or some sort of mimicking bug. You want something deadly and aggressive? Wasps, snakes, or big cats might be for you. Or do you want something vibrant and alien? Check out some reef fish, tropical frogs, or other types of beetles. For the Vespid, I wanted something fast, dangerous, and kind of alien, yet grounded in something we instinctively fear as humans. So I chose the classic black and yellow hornet. When pulling a color scheme for your model, you want to break it down into four areas. One, the base tone. This is going to be your dominant body color. For a hornet, it's going to be this orangey yellow color. For a highlight, you want to determine how bright do you want to go with your model. Accents and warning colors, it's going to be the contrast spots or patterns that stand out. For us, this is going to be our bright yellow, accented by this brownish black color. And the material finish, is it matte, shiny, iridescent, or textured? For example, if you're using a fox, your base tone would be an orangey brown. Your highlight color would be a pale orange or yellow. Your accent color is going to be the grayish white that you can see on their bellies, and your overall finish is going to be matte like their fur. In this case, for a hornet, our base tone is going to be a yellow-orange with deep orange recesses. Our highlight is bright and almost reflective yellow. Our accents are high contrast black areas, usually placed near the head and joints to draw the eye, and for this, a satin finish is going to do the trick due to the hornet's semi-gloss nature. So to begin this model, we're starting with a pink zenithal prime applied via airbrush. Airbrushes are among the most versatile tools in our arsenal, particularly when it comes to priming and achieving smooth color transitions. Despite their reputation as expensive or intimidating, even an entry-level airbrush can dramatically elevate your results. When I first got into the hobby, I had the same reservations until I picked up a budget combo from Amazon. This guy was about 50 bucks, came with also a small airbrush. That set served me really reliably for about 3 years. I'll link in the description in case you want to give it a try. Eventually, I upgraded to an Iwata Eclipse paired with a master airbrush compressor, which honestly has significantly improved consistency, reduced my clogging, and made airbrushing a more integral part of my workflow. And with our pink zenithal in place, we're going to be moving on to a Yandan yellow contrast paint. This can establish a vivid and energetic base. Because pink belongs to the warm red family, it naturally complements the yellow by reinforcing its warmth and vibrancy. This warm over warm layering prevents the yellow from appearing washed out and also instead gives it a radiant and sunlit quality. The pink also adds subtle gradients, warmth that shifts to orange in the midtones, saturation that enhances richness, and natural reddish shadows that feel more organic than your neutral grays or browns that you're going to apply through Nuln Oil or something similar. This approach lays a foundational harmony that's going to reflect the coloration found in nature. This rich gradient of yellows and oranges is ideal for replicating the natural shading found in a hornet's exoskeleton. Hornets typically feature warm orange midtones in the recesses and high contrast yellows in the raised segments, perfectly mimicking the kind of transition that we're achieving here. To further emphasize these warm tones in the Vespid skin, I'm applying dark oath flesh. This keeps the palette within the same orange spectrum while reinforcing this alien aesthetic. I've targeted areas like the fingers and feet, which naturally are going to fall into shadow. This not only enhances realism through light and contrast, but also visually separates the model and really lets the natural tones of the body kind of separate from the more artificial elements of the model. Moving on to the Tau armor, I wanted to set it apart from the Hornet-inspired organic tones. To do that, I've selected a palette of blue, black, and gray. In nature, Hornets use striking black and yellow hazard striping as a warning system, so this sharp contrast isn't just eye-catching, it's symbolic. We are leveraging that same visual language but flipping it. The natural yellow stands in opposition to this manufactured black and gray tone. These colder synthetic colors, along with Nuln Oil shading, convey a sense of alien intervention, implying the Vespid has been repurposed by the Tau Empire into a mechanical instrument of war. For his weapon, I wanted the same thing to stand out. White and gray aren't colors prominently featured in nature, so this element is going to really stand out as alien compared to our more natural palette. Not only does this color not fit into our palette, it also doesn't fit the organic shapes going on in the rest of the model, so it'll really stand out. So the wings initially posed a challenge. My instinct for these was to add a bright blue or another striking accent color, but real hornet wings are mostly transparent with only a slight brown-yellow tint through. So to mirror that, I allowed a bit of the pink zenithal to have sprayed over and to show through, following up this with a coat of skeleton contrast paint. This is going to simulate the warmth of the underlying flesh, radiating and showing through this thin membrane of wing. This keeps us true to our naturalistic themes. Another distinctive feature of hornet wings is the reddish-brown ribbing that supports them. I recreated this detail by applying a thin line of dark oath flesh along the wing veins. The contrast paint naturally settles into the recesses, creating this realistic color gradient and enhancing definition without overcomplicating the surface. Now, it's time for my favorite part, highlighting. This is where the model really starts to come alive. So beginning with our Tau armor, I revisited our blue-black base, adding highlights selectively to the raised edges. Rather than following the traditional heavy metal style, which typically I don't do, this relies heavily on edge highlighting. My preferred method is a volumetric approach. This technique emphasizes the model's form through realistic light placement and blended transitions, helping it feel more grounded and believable. Trust me, the more you do this method, the better of a painter you'll be. Next, with the blue-black restored, I introduced Xandri dust as a highlight tone, mixing about 50-50 of blue-black to Xandri dust. This is applied sparingly to the model's sharpest edges and upward-facing surfaces. Not only does this enhance realism by mimicking the natural light, but it also ties the armor visually into the warmer palette of the base, further uniting the model within this grimdark environment. Now let's push our yellow tones even further. While the current scheme already pops for tabletop quality, I want to elevate the finish closer to the glossy shell of a hornet. For this, I'm using Bad Moon's yellow in a thin glaze consistency. This is concentrated on large exposed surfaces such as shoulders, knees, wing plating, and then lightly blended into the limbs. The result is going to be a more vibrant and complex yellow that reinforces the natural inspiration behind the scheme. Then for the stinger, I've drawn inspiration from Tyrian carapaces. I'm using fine strokes, starting from the center of each plate and then pulling towards the lower edge. This introduces a subtle surface texture, mimicking scratches or reflective chitin. It's an important detail that contrasts sharply with the smooth and clean lines of the sci-fi armor, emphasizing the hybrid nature of this creature. And to further amplify contrast, I'm glazing Dorn yellow onto the most exposed and elevated regions, such as kneecaps, shoulders, wingtips, and stinger ridges. This can add an ice yellow edge that pushes the color range from deep orange all the way up to bright and nearly white yellow. It's going to very easily reflect the kind of reflective nature of a hornet's natural carapace. This also increases visual impact and directs the viewer's eye to key. So in highlighting the skin, I really wanted to go alien with this. So kind of in the uncanny region of the color spectrum. So I mixed the Kislev flesh with dark oath flesh to produce a vibrant and punchy glaze. The combo of a regular acrylic paint plus a contrast paint gives you a really powerful highlighting tool that is both already thinned out, but also still vibrant due to the not watering it down with water. So for this, I use this to pick out the ridges on the Vespid's neck and stinger, focusing on the outer edges while leaving the undersides darker. This maintains the depth and preserves the warm shadows that we've already established throughout the rest of the process. To wrap up the organic to mechanical contrast, I'm going to finish this gray and white detail with a pure white ink. Pure white is very rarely found in nature, so it's going to make this feel really stark and artificial and futuristic when used selectively. By reserving it for weapons and other Tau technology, it's going to reinforce the feeling that this creature is augmented, part tool, part animal. It's going to add to the storytelling of this model that it's more of a captured being that's being utilized for something other than its original purpose. And to heighten our alien tech vibe, I'm going to add a touch of neon green. Using the airbrush, I'm going to apply a quick glow effect to the helmet lens and weapon crystal. Because these are already white, this is really going to stand out as a big contrast in color. The neon contrasts sharply with the natural palette, once again signaling this energy, danger, and unnatural interference to the model. So with the Vespid complete, I want the base to reflect the grimdark universe of Warhammer, really build this guy into this unnatural place that he's not meant to be in. So for that, I'm keeping the tones dark and earthy, adding rust effects and texture. A final pass with streaking grime is going to unify the surface and adds a weathered, gritty finish, making our vibrant, hornet-inspired warrior stand out dramatically. And there you have it, a nature-inspired Vespid ready to sting its way through the battlefield. Let me know in the comments what creature you'd like to paint a mini after if you were to try this. Or if you want to see me do the same method with kind of a more out there animal to model combination, let me know, because I'm totally down. This was a really fun process that got me thinking about how to make our color palettes more interesting and kind of more outside the box. Sometimes it's forgotten that nature's had a lot longer than us to develop color palettes. So on to the YouTube pleasantries. If you don't mind, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps me out. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.